I'm a guy that it's an understatement to say that I expect excellence on all facets of my life. If I have somebody who comes out and works on my house, I pity the contractor that does something on my house because I will shred him. Because it's just got to be right. I mean, if a painter doesn't get that on the baseboard flawlessly, I just can't handle it. It's just kind of excellence or nothing. And you guys that are in the auto industry, you'll appreciate this. If I have a car that gets scratched and they do paint work on it, the car's sold. I won't be driving it 30 days. I don't care if it's my favorite car. It's gone. I'm not interested in owning it. I'm not interested in having it changed over the next year. But that's who I am. Of course, that's a good characteristic in driving and building a company. But inside of that, to say that I'm looking at this of pushing for excellence at every level, you realize inside of real estate, the auto industry, and then the part of life as I get older, I'm realizing excellence isn't in fact the standard in life. As I got older, I gained a few pounds. I've never had any tolerance for anyone that had overweight. I had some weight issues, because it's just like, well, you do this. It's discipline, man. Pull it together. My poor boy, the life he had to grow up in. Pull your act together, son. And but as I get older, and I think you find that true, you begin to realize that the life of journey is a unique experience, and I begin to love and appreciate my fellow man on all levels and all fronts, and we all come from family. Of course, then all you got to do is have family, right? And that'll humble anybody, because we all come from some place. I come from extreme poor. Some of you have heard my story in the past. I come from extreme poverty. The front porch, I grew up in a little small town, the poorest house in my city, and on Main Street across from the bowling alley, which was kind of the gravel parking lot, out of the way bowling alley. It wasn't any show feature. It was a small town, and we had cardboard boxes that we stapled. My dad stapled to our front porch to help reduce the wind flow blowing through the front door during the winter. And we lived close to the mountains, and I'll never forget when the wind would begin to come and the snow would begin to come. You always have those winds in the winter, and it'd blow through that house. And we had that cool new vinyl because it was the latest thing in the late '60s, and that vinyl in our kitchen would blow up as the wind would blow outside. Just kind of raise and lower. I mean, I'm telling you, I know what lentils are for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And my family today, my siblings, some of you have met my brother. None of you have, I don't believe, met my sister. She lives in Alaska. But both my siblings are still welfare recipients today on government aid. That's the family I come from. And I made a difference. I pulled together. And so my love and appreciation for humanity is changed. And I begin to look at, and I care for them, by the way, and I make sure that by the way, just so you know this, I make sure that my siblings and my cousins, extended family, they all drive cars that I've bought them. They all live in homes that I provide. But I'm not giving them, I'm not a sugar daddy. I'm just going to make sure they're safe. And their provisions are okay and they got food. But inside of that, pull it together and follow me. Come on, I want to make a way for you. Let's do this. So as we built iWowWe, as we look at the dealership model, and we look at the things, then I begin to focus on the corporate America. I had some companies come to me, talk to me. I actually had a board of directors from General Motors, because of my friendship with the dealer in Houston, come into our corporate office, fly down, and talk about implementing iWowWe as an internet part of the General Motors family. And so we began to go down this road a little bit. I pulled back on that and didn't pursue that as a model because I began to realize the opportunity we had as a company to not necessarily be a wholesaler. Because I began to hold it, why would I go? I'm getting no fame. And see, we kept on building companies and companies. We were building all these private labels, and we were supporting all these companies, and that was my model. And I began to realize that my exit strategy as a principal, no one knew who I was. I was building everybody else's brand. I was helping all these other people build their brand, their intranet, their companies, their communication systems. And I began to realize that I wasn't headed the right direction with our platform. And so in that, I began to make this change and look at it, and then begin to look at the world. And I'm going to wrap up here. I know I realize we've just hit our timeline. And so I'm going to wrap up this segment. Maybe I might get to come back a little bit more and talk to you just briefly about some of iWowWe stuff. Of course, Bobby's going to be coming up right after lunch. We have two people that I consider two of the best communicators, trainers. Lunch after we come back from lunch, just to let you know, is when I think the real content of today's meeting is going to begin to occur. It really is. He's flown in here from Houston. We good? And to be a part of this thing. And it's going to be he'll cover a lot of things that I'm not covering in my segment here. He'll hit in detail. And trust me, he's a phenomenal communicator. We're really privileged as a company to have brought him on board. He's one of the newest members of the team. And we're very grateful and very excited about Bobby being here this afternoon to share with you some training tips. So but coming back to this and wrapping up real quickly. iWowWe, as an investor group, I got a guy, and I guess you need to hear this, a good friend of mine, Michael Stewart. Michael Stewart, I think you probably know his work. You don't probably know his name out there. He's not a high-profile guy. But Michael Stewart invented something. He's an engineer, and he invented the microprocessors that measure the flow of gas in a gas pipeline. So I don't care if you pump gas in your car to get here, or if you have natural gas in your house, or the refineries that build around this world. Michael Stewart has changed the world we live in. Would you not agree with that? The microprocessor that measures the flow of gas, the guy invented it. He worked with a couple other guys, and he talked them into building a microprocessing development company to develop a course along that line. Compact, Rod, Canyon got kicked off, and they weren't, I didn't meet these guys mutual of each other, separate relationships. But Michael helped a couple guys form a company, and he built the whole infrastructure and all the video trainings. He said, in fact, we were just talking, we met on Thursday and had a lunch and spent a couple hours together. And he did all the video recordings and trained the first 2,000 people that were building microprocessors on a manufacturing level. And they launched this company, and they called the company Intel. Anybody hear the name, know the name? And Michael Stewart was the guy that every one of those employees was trained by him on how to build by virtue of a video. And so he said, I've been involved. He's pretty excited because he's been involved in video since the beginning. But Michael Stewart has gone out, and he's wealthy is an understatement. And he doesn't have his name in Forbes intentionally, and he works very hard to be off the radar. So does Rod. And by the way, just to tell you about the kind of people you're dealing with, these are guys who are involved in the company. Michael Stewart's one of my partners in the company. These are not venture capitalists. These are not guys that are trying to wrench my back arms. I have 100% control of the company. These are my friends. They're your friends. And they're going to be coming out public, by the way, with this convention. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff company. We're working on this background, and there's a reason where we're headed as a company. And I could just keep going on with some of the partners who are involved with this. Well, Michael Stewart invented something, the basis, the premise of a project that built a company that became global, and that I already mentioned earlier today. And they call that company, it's called IBM. IBM invented something called the Blade server, which is what really put IBM on the map. And the Blade server is what every major company, everything, AT&T, everybody works off Blade servers. You have your home box, and you can get a server in a box, but the next step up is what they call Blade servers. And it's changed the whole world. Well, Michael Stewart's the guy that built the original designs that became the patent, ultimately, of the Blade server. And so you can see he might have some resources. Have you guys heard about the above-ground rail that they're going to be bringing in out of Mexico and moving it up through Texas and up into Oklahoma? It's an unmanned electric rail above ground. Well, that's going to be happening before your eyes. See, it's off the news. That's the kind of guy Michael Stewart is. That's going on. It travels at 60 miles an hour, refrigerated, unmanned, and we'll be able to bring produce into America and change the way our cost of groceries. Michael's a guy that's changed the world we live in. He has changed, and he's a very much a philanthropist, making a difference. And that land has already been bought. All the permits are already issued. They're already in design phase of this thing. And Michael Stewart contributed and funded that project, $8.5 billion. So I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just chump change for you, but I'm impressed. And that's happening right now. And so there's people in this world, and it's amazing. He didn't get any funding from Obama on that one. But anyway, it's and nor are the it's interesting to me that Apple didn't get any government aid either. But the business, that's the way it works, and neither has iWowWe. By the way, we did have, in fact, after CJ and JJ were in the office, and a few others were in the office, we had a high-level individual from the Pentagon does this. They've been in our office now 3 times and discussing grant money to get involved, because we've come up with some components that I'm not going to tell you today in this short period of time, because that would turn into another 3 hours. But that we are, when I tell you that we are where we're headed and where we're going and what I'm inviting you to partner with, I want to encourage you with every fiber in my being. Is one man to another man or woman. I'm going to tell you, you need to consider where you're at today and rearrange your schedule in such a way to engage at a level that you make this your best effort. Because what's about ready to happen in 2012, you're going to want to be as far down the road as you can be with momentum. And I will not regret. You can come look me in the eye and say, Bill, you can hold me to that. Because there are some things that we're doing. Again, today is proof of concept. We're building infrastructure. We're changing. I've given myself permission to carve out the best affiliate program that exists. I've made some changes recently. Change is brutal. Change should never happen. I'm with that. I'm the first to say, never change. But I will tell you, I've given myself the permission in these early days to do whatever I have to do to build a platform, because there's just a handful of us in this room today, to do whatever we have to do to build a basis where we can look, and you can look anyone in the eye and say, this is the highest paying relationship, lowest price point, best product. It's going to go viral. This next generation that we're rolling out and some of the things we're coming out with, millions upon millions of users will be coming into the system. And we're moving all that. We're collapsing. During that course of time, we're collapsing. By next March, we actually have a business calendar written out. By next March, we will be collapsing all those corporate accounts, 2,100 plus. They'll all be rolling into and compressed inside of the matrix. We're not going to do any business. We will be leading solely with, we work under 32 different marketing brands right now today, just to tell you. Just so if you go, I have people email me every so often say, aha, Bill, I've caught you. I now know who you're buying your product from. And I kind of chuckle at times, to say the least, because I go, yeah, that's our brand. You know what I mean? You don't even know how to respond to that. But so I'm just telling you, so don't send me that email. So we're doing things on a big scale, and we are collapsing all that. We're in the process. Again, we have a line up to March next year when we're going to be rolling out our 5.0 version, which again will change the way the whole world works. And as I wrap up, I'll give you a little teaser on that. What's going to happen is these cell phone that you have, of course, the iPhone component. And by the way, if you haven't heard the story, the guys that built that iPhone component, FaceTime for Apple under contract, they work for me. You think we have a little resources? They work for us exclusively. And so I can just keep going on and on with you. So anybody heard of a company called Netflix? Holger and his team of 3 guys are the ones that built the protocols that make that work. They're in my office. We hired Holger's in. His other 3 guys are coming next 60 days. We had to make some moves, shift them around, and get them in. They're on the team. You think we're putting together the resources to do something big? The next generation will have nothing. We're going to keep a couple pieces out of what we've built. Here's our proof of concept. However, when we roll out this next platform, there will be nothing you recognize, because you'll be able to take your cell phone on an app. You won't have to log into a website. You won't be, by virtue that you're on your phone, you have already passed the login protocols. Or if you're on your computer, and you'll just simply click a button and you will be live, and you'll be able to use, say if you're on a Facebook, you'll be able to just select on one of your Facebook friends and families. You won't have to integrate any address book. It will go live and pop instantly your live video anywhere in the world with anybody, unlimited numbers. And they won't have latency issues. We're going like crazy. You hear us talk about colo data centers that we're building right now. We just rolled out. We've had hardware in UK now for probably 6 months, and Australia as well. And those are coming live on right now. But we plan to have over, it'll be in 90 markets within the next two quarters of actual physical equipment around the world. We're looking to become the leader in global communications without latency and be that forefront people that even AT&T look to. So anyway, with that, I'm just telling you, I want to give you a little taste of where we're headed. Again, my time's out. I could go on and on and on, but I appreciate you, and I know some of you I lost an hour ago. But for those of you who endured with me or just kind enough to give me time, I do consider you partners. We've put together a compensation plan to pay you all of the money other than just the base cost to make sure that the lights and the power stay on. We're not interested in a profit margin or breakage or captures or twists or turns that make the company money at your expense. That's not our interest. Our interest, again, in conclusion, I think is the best way to say this. Facebook has been deemed worth $100 billion. It's a new economy in the IT world. How in the world are they worth $100 billion? They only brought in a couple $100 million in revenues. Even if you did 10 times earnings, that only gets you to a couple billion. Do you see what I'm trying to say? And how this works? How did you get to 100 billion? Because the new economy on the web it's about influence. See, Facebook, 7 out of 10 people on planet Earth have, in fact, at one point or another, had a contact with Facebook, have a relationship with Facebook. That's unimaginable. Facebook's value is just getting started. That's our value premise as well. Myself, the principals, this is a complete business strategy. It's not smoke and mirrors. We're interested in paying you more than any company's ever paid in this space, period, or any other space. I don't care if they're selling vitamins or shoes. We're interested in paying you and figuring out how to do that and thus creating an extraordinary market. And we are not interested in selling out from underneath you. Technology is usually short-lived. In fact, I'd advise everybody to never get involved with a technology direct sales type company for building long-term residuals because technology changes. If you don't have a clue yet, let me just give you one. Do you see the people we're hiring? We're not hiring those people for the humor of it. That's costing me and my partners a small fortune. A small fortune. Maybe a large fortune would be more appropriate to say. And we are doing that, and we're not interested in a dime coming from your side of this deal for the next 5 years, candidly. Our value proposition is building something significant with influence on the world basis, and we will not be in it. We're not selling. We're not shifting. We have a business strategy already in place. In a world economy today, you know, Microsoft has bought big into Facebook. You know that? They bought big into Facebook. Why? They're shoring up. They're coming up with their own communication platforms. They bought Skype. You mean why are they doing it? Because in today's economy, you shore up your stock losses and gains by being a player in the company that's tearing you down. Cisco is our mark. We have 2 marks as a company. We are building our current platform, by the way, is a Skype killer. A lot of people always ask, I love it today when I get asked, well, how does your thing compare to Skype? I just smile. Well, it's fine. It's a different platform. Well, I'm just going to tell you the next platform. No. You can flat out pull it out. We are building something that makes Skype look like an antiquated toy. That's what we're building. And we have our gun sights on Cisco. They have a company called WebEx, or platform they call WebEx. They did $5 billion. Their company's a $40 billion company. We have every intention, myself and the principals, what we are doing is not this room. What we're doing, our business strategy is we're going to take that market away from Cisco, and it's going to be a radical change, just like you saw that can happen in technology today. That overnight, there's a new player. Facebook is a new guy on the scene. Wasn't on the scene. There was no iPhone a few years ago. The world's changing. We're building a team of people to shock. We're not looking to just kind of get along. Bringing on the affiliate program was a strategy move, intentional. We did this to get the word out and build a base, because if we can get, what if we can get 100,000 of you involved in the next 90, 120 days? And we roll out something that the world wide, and we have 120,000 people that for profit are motivated to help us broadcast our message around the world. What do you think we're going to do overnight? I say it this way. I said with a group last night, what if Facebook, for every friend you had on Facebook, you got $1 a month? Do you know our matrix does that? What if you got $1 a month for every friend? How many friends do you want on your Facebook account? Do you know our new system integrates seamlessly with Facebook, and its friends and families will all be a part of it? How many of you would like to have about 2 zillion friends on Facebook right now at $1 a head? Every month? Sign me on that deal. That's the deal you're signed on. You just don't know where it's coming from. Banner ads, by the way, there's a whole lot of stuff. I'm just going to tell you, there's a whole lot of stuff coming, and it's coming faster than you think. And it's exciting, and I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, letting me have a few moments with you today, longer than I should. And that was my short speech. Thank you. It's back to you. I appreciate you.